Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This segment is presented by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. This postseason stretch has everything. The NFL playoffs bringing winner-go-home drama, college hoops heating up, and nightly action across the NBA and NHL. If you're following the games, FanDuel provides real-time odds, player trends, and insights that help fans understand how the markets view each matchup. From football to basketball to hockey, it's a great way to stay connected to what's happening across every league. Here on Chief Concerns, we'll keep you close to the storylines and key numbers shaping the postseason, which teams are trending up, which stars are surging, and how momentum is shifting as the championships get closer. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We don't offer betting advice or guarantees. Please gamble responsibly and only where it's legal to do so. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there is our guy, former Chiefs tight end, Jason Dunn. JD, how we doing, brother?
Doing well, Marcus. How's it going, my brother? How you doing, baby? What's going down? Monday morning. I'm doing well, man. Nice weekend. Had a little sun. It got a little cold, but man, some of these games I've been watching also too, man, has been exciting to see. But you know what, man? Starting off the week, beautiful day, beautiful week. Man, we're gonna keep this thing going in 2026, baby. 2026. So
Yes, sir.
Man, what's going down? What's up?
This weekend was great. Great football. Obviously, it's interesting, right? You know, we talk about how the guy's been playing extra football for 10 years now, it seems like. And they got a break, and I'm sure they're loving it. Obviously, they want to be playing, but at the same time, I'm sure they're loving it. And also for us too, you know, like we are grinding 4 or 5 live streams a week. So it was kind of nice to kind of sit back and just to enjoy football and not have to, you know, take notes, get things compiled to come right on after a game. So it is kind of a nice break for us as well. Although I wish we were playing, but it's kind of a nice break for us on the show as well, just to watch football and kind of sit back and just be fans for a little bit. JD,
I hear you. You know what? I felt like this was probably the best time to do it. And I was just right there with you. I'm like, man, we had to worry about nothing. We could just sit back and just watch football. Nobody's having any type of anxiety, but there's been some absolutely great games out there. And to be honest with you, Marcus, I think this is what this season was going to bring about. I said this year was probably going to be one of the toughest years because there wasn't really any clear front runner. And you could see it just kind of in the games, how they've just been playing out. Everything has been really close. There's been some very good plays out there offensively, defensively. And so, man, I've been really pleased with what I've been seeing over the past few days. Teja,
what up?
What's going down, brother? How you doing?
The offseason, that's what's going down.
Yeah.
We're here, man. We're here.
Yeah, we are, man. But we've
been here for quite some time, but we're officially here now.
We're officially here, you know, but we're talking about how we're enjoying the good football this weekend. And so just sitting back and letting everything just play out, watching some of these good teams go at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun for, you know, other fans when you're just dreading Mahomes having the ball last in a game, I guess. The game's up in the air. You don't know who's going to win anymore.
No, you don't.
Anyone can win now.
Well, they're putting everything. I guess Colin Cowherd's putting everything on the Greek god Josh Allen. Apparently,
unreal.
He's moved into mode.
Mark, did you quote Pete Prisco's tweet at all? If you're talking about this,
I did not. I did not say it.
So Prisco had a tweet yesterday of CBS Sports. He said, Gosh, what was the exact quote?
He said
basically,
all the games are good because no team is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no great teams in the playoffs right now.
No. Yeah. That's what I was saying, that everybody is up. It really is up for anybody to win. And so we seen the Eagles get eliminated, which they probably shouldn't have lost that game. Same thing. I thought, I was pushing for the Panthers, man, to win that game against the Rams. They had a chance. They had a shot, man.
They did. Yeah. That goes to show you it's really up in the air, because Rams were one of the few teams that people felt were kind of like Chiefian, right? They thought they were kind of the contender of the group. Like, this is who you have to beat. And even that's like, up in the air. Yep.
Green Bay and the Packers, or the Packers in Chicago, them going at it.
That was a good game.
Yeah, Caleb Williams and them pulling it out up there in Chicago, and Packers shouldn't have lost that game either, man.
You know what I noticed about the game?
You watched that game? You watched that game with Chad, JD?
Mm-hmm.
How about?
Oh, Chad, man, it was livid. Oh, we just in there and so Chad was so. I guess it was midway through the fourth quarter, and of course, I'm talking noise on Green Bay, and Chad's like, "Hey, man, what time's the Chiefs play tomorrow?" I was like,
"It's a good one."
I said,
they're not playing. They're greeting you guys on your way out the door on the tarmac of Cancun's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Man, y'all going fishing, ain't you, in Cancun?" And so when it came down to it, I said, "Man, maybe we need to make a little room in the boat for y'all." Okay, over. How about
we're
that?
Eating good already, man. We're already they're coming in like lugging their luggage in. We're at the table eating.
Yeah.
We are.
Man,
what's up with you guys so long, man? We've been here like an hour.
Hey, come on, love, Jordan, love, y'all, come on over here, man. Yeah. Been waiting for y'all.
We got the mango mojitos sitting poolside for you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But the Eagles losing, that was a fun one to call out. I called it out on our Twitter account because after we lost the Super Bowl to them last year, I had numerous. I picked out 3 of the comments, and I kind of scammed through our post-game show, our reaction show. And so many Eagles fans were making fun of us, saying that they killed our dynasty. They're going to start their own dynasty. They're going to go back-to-back, all this stuff. So I was able to go back and get receipts, because that's what the beautiful internet is great for, receipts.
Yeah.
Screenshot those bad boys, put those on our Twitter account. And, so it was kind of lovely to see Eagles fans have to wallow in that, and also seeing their coach fight with the receiver on the sideline during the game, too. What a disaster.
I tell you what, man. There's certain guys, and that's how great they play, how good they are, can just be absolutely headaches to a team. You've seen it. So I'm not a big Sirianni fan. I think he's okay coach, but when you see that, and then AJ Brown, I'm sitting there thinking, like, what are y'all arguing about? I wonder what this is about, right? There's one thing being passionate about playing. I get that. But if you drop a couple of passes that, you probably should have caught.
Big ones too.
Yeah. What are you coming back for unless he just dog cussed you? Now, if he dog cussed you, then you have every right to go back at the coach. I don't, he demeaned you or something like that. That's one thing. But,
he's gone. He's gone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a fact. Out of there.
He's gone.
Out of there. So, but that will ruin the team, man. That ruin the team, especially, when you're trying to win, you're trying to galvanize everybody together to put something to win in Philly. That's the thing. You in Philly too. I was shocked, man. I was shocked. So
I had an interesting observation yesterday. So all the teams that drafted running backs pretty high, obviously Genty didn't really make the Raiders that much better at all. Hampton, number 2 back on his playoff team. Travion Henderson, number 2 back on his playoff team. What do you mean? What?
Well, Hampton. Well, no. The Hampton part. Hampton was injured, and he didn't play. He didn't play after the first quarter. Like, he almost didn't even play in that game. So the fact that he was active and didn't play after the first quarter, so I mean, he had an injury issue going on.
Totally valid, but even when he came back, he wasn't the full time. Like, he didn't come back in the game. Like,
he was the RB. He was the RB1 the last 2 weeks.
And then what happened?
He was hurt.
He got injured again. So
Yeah,
not
but
staying healthy, you can't be a running back one.
Right, no, but I'm saying he was not the RB2. He was the RB1. He just got hurt. So
What happened? So what's your argument? Go ahead. I'm trying to finish with your argument. What you were saying.
Drafting a running back early is maybe not the best thing to do. That's all.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right.
Scatabo got hurt.
Yep.
Junkins got hurt.
Yep.
Got into the loads. Got hurt. Hampton got hurt like 15 times, and because of that, Vidal ended up. Look, man, it's the playoffs. He's like 22 years old. He practiced. He said he was ready to play. You gave him like a few carries. Either not healthy or you're healthy. It's a playoff game. You get your best players on the field. So if he couldn't play, that'd be one thing. But you're limiting his touches to like 5. That's weak. If he's healthy enough to play and he's your best back, you get him out there. I mean, am I wrong on that?
He had a pretty good sized ankle brace during pregame yesterday. So I don't know how. I don't think he was that healthy at all going into that game. I think he was just trying to give it a go, and once they saw he really couldn't do anything, they kind of hung on Vidal after that.
But they still like sprinkled him in there throughout the game. It wasn't like they completely abandoned him. He was in there like every 5-10 plays. They put him out there to block one time. Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna put your rookie running back out there to block? That's what you're gonna use him as? A blocker? I mean, man, there you go. Draft receiver, top 20 guys will be blocking for you in the playoffs. There's there it is.
But Teja's point taken. Point absolutely taken. And for me, I think it's a very valid point. I do. I think Gentry in himself, as far as like what he tried to, with the team that he was on, just didn't produce a whole lot. He just didn't. And so it's going to take more than just one guy, especially on offense. But draft-wise, draft pick, we'll talk about it because it's really the price point for me. It really is. So if we're sitting there saying we can go get a veteran guy, who you don't have to worry about the learning curve and him coming in and knowing how the league works, and he's already seasoned, that's the guy that I want. I want a guy like that, as opposed to a guy who's coming in, like you said, all the guys you just named. It might take them a year or two to get their legs up underneath them. And again, I had to make this point, and I had to say it on Twitter. If your line is not blocking the way they're supposed to, you get second highest paid offensive line in the league, and you just fell short. Didn't make any sense to have that guy. So we went back and forth. I'm sure y'all seen all the little talk and stuff, man. After a while, I'm sitting there thinking like, you know what? None of these don't matter. What I say. It's not. I could bring evidence. And so it wasn't just opinion. I'm bringing evidence on why, the line was bad. And so, I could bring up film and show how bad it was. Whatever we have an argument on, I'm like, okay, it's one thing to have an opinion on certain things, but let's have some things to back it up as well, right? On why I'm marking the point. So,
yeah, for sure. I'm not against taking Love. It's not running back. It's Love. It's Love, or you wait a long time to get a running back. It's Love or bust as far as running backs go. I'm not against it. I just think where we're situated to get us back on track the fastest way, there are other ways to go about it. That's all.
And tonight's episode, we'll explore why we want to go. So with our Monday night shows going forward till we get to all of our position groups, where they're going to transition over to talking about prospects. But tonight we're going to talk about our defensive line, so the defensive tackles, defensive ends. And tonight's episode is really going to highlight, if you are on the fence of saying we should get Jeremiah Love, tonight's going to highlight why we really need to utilize that 9th pick on defensive line, i.e. edge rusher, because we're going to explore our defensive line and the guys we have currently on the roster. Prevish has his work cut out for him with this defensive line. The guys we have under contract, and even the free agency class. I mean, free agency class isn't the best as far as defensive ends either. So it's like, yeah. So tonight's episode is going to be really eye-opening to the defensive line issues that we have on the team and why the number 9 pick needs to really go to that. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about what we have, and obviously as well as everybody in the chat, that your input as well. As what your thoughts are on the current defensive line structure. But yeah, JD, I agree with you, especially to add to the point of why we shouldn't go running back early. We don't know when Mahomes is going to be back. And if he does come back, we don't want him to have to run for his life. I don't want to have to rely on a young guy, like to Teja's point. I don't want to have to rely on a young guy who's getting 15 to 20 touches a game. I want a guy who's already been there and has already been in a league. And it's not saying to get an old guy. It's saying to get a guy who's, one of these Kenneth Walkers, one of these Breece Halls, Tyler Algiers, any of those guys who have taken the load on before, and you can kind of rely on those guys. Whereas instead, you're going to forget a Jeremiah Love. It's like, well, he's never had to take on a full load before in the NFL, and we're going to start day one giving it to him. That's just, I'm very against that, and I think we're going to need to kind of put the load on whoever this running back is who we do sign. And again, with running back nowadays, we've talked about on the show for the last few years, you're not breaking the bank on running backs anymore. It's not like you're going to spend a lot of money on a running back. You're not. I mean, these guys are taking 2 or 3 year deals, making seven to eight a year. So it's like these aren't very expensive guys. So you keep that 9th pick to get edge rusher, and then you sign a running back. And Breece Hall is a guy we've obviously shown interest in, or Kenneth Walker. There's plenty of guys too in the depth wise as free agency for your veteran running backs. But yeah, I just can't see us drafting Jeremiah Love and giving him 20 touches right out the gate. That doesn't sound like a plan.
I also wanted to comment before you go, JD. The Grunny show, fantastic. There was one time where Grunny mentioned, and it was a pro as to why we should draft running back Love first, about how short their lifespans are. It was a way he was saying it in a way that we shouldn't pick up a running back because the tread on the tires are starting to get wear down, and we should draft Love for that purpose. Well, if we're talking about running back lifespans, and we're not going to pick this high, hopefully for a long, long time, then wouldn't you want to draft a guy that's going to play on your team for like 10 years? Like you're hoping if he becomes what you want him to. Whereas Love, after year 5 or 6, like Grunny pretty much admitted, he's going to lose a step. And if Love loses a step, he's not really Love anymore, So I would rather, if that's what we're talking about, I don't think that is a good long-term investment. A DN's rushing a passer until he's like in his early 30s, if he's special at it. We're talking about guys who are special at things, right? Like a DN who's special, a running back who's special. A running back who's special doesn't stay special into his 30s. A DN badass rusher stays special into his 30s.
Oh, yeah.
So if we're talking about that, then for that even more so, it works against the go Love logic. If you're talking about, losing a step after 4 to 5 years in the NFL.
Well, I guess he was saying that if we put money and invest in a guy that does have, tread on his tires, like Breece Hall, second contract, he's got the hits. He's already taken, I guess, 4 years of physical stuff already before you get younger. And I mean, you can make that argument, but I still see it as you're getting a guy that's game ready, and you can't think about winning later. Everything's trying to win now, right? We've seen teams that's in the playoffs now that I didn't think after having the first year of the head coach or whatever that they were going to be in the playoffs. Seriously, I just didn't. I mean, we're talking about, look at Seattle, look at Chicago. We're talking about, I didn't think the Panthers were going to be there for the playoffs. And so we're seeing now these coaches is coming in. Everybody's trying to win now. I get trying to have a plan later on down the years, but like people have been saying, and I've said this too, Patrick Mahomes has been in the league. He's done gotten hurt. We need for him to come back and start winning right now. And can't wait. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to play as long as Tom Brady. He'd be crazy if he did. He doesn't need to. But I do believe that trying to take advantage of the time that you have right now, get somebody who's game ready, come in day one, understands it, go hit his head on the goalpost. As soon as you hand the ball off to him, is the guy that you need. Yeah, you just do. And so if you do have that window, Tej, I'm saying, well, good. Okay, you got to tread on the tires. Give us 3 years then. Give us 3 good years. We'll pay you for those 3 good years to get that out of you. I'm fine with that. But like you said, if the money goes longer, getting a young defensive end in, right? Because then we have to worry about paying him. If he's really good, then we have to pay him too. Comes back, we got to pay that joker. Shoot. And probably when he gets to where he's, hit his next contract, they probably be looking at probably 45, 50 to be, you know what I'm saying?
If you compare the money too, like that's one of the biggest discrepancies, because if you say ninth overall pick, I think makes about 4.5 to 4.7 a year, maybe like around 5 with this. Okay. Maybe this year will be a little more. So like 4.5 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
A running back free agent, like I forgot what they were projected to get, but I mean, I think Walker was projected to get like 6 to 7 a year.
That's it.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at Bleacher Report has 3 years, $29 million. Breece Hall 4 years, $41 million. So you're talking about like 5 more million. Yeah, okay. So you're talking about five more million, 6 more million. But compare that to DN now. DN, the top free agent on a given year, is getting like 20 to 25 million compared to Bailey or Bain, for example, who are going to get the same 4.5 million. Like, we're talking about 5 times the amount of what they're going to be getting, as opposed to like doubling it, right? So
right. Yeah. So
yeah. Business wise, like Sasha says here, that does not make sense financially to draft a running back just based on that, and it also bodes well for the camp that's in the draft and edge if we're predicting what we're going to do. But we have to play salary cap gymnastics. I mean, we're going to talk tonight about one of the guys who we might have to cut because it's going to save us around $10 million to release him. So like VJ's going to have to do a lot of this. Like, we always talk about him being the Mr. 5 mil below. We're going to see some 5 mil below contracts this offseason with Brett Veach. He's going to have to. He's going to have to, be very, very frugal this offseason and very delicate about what he does and how he spends money and how he kind of sheds some of the salary on the roster. So, yeah. Let's begin with this episode tonight. So, guys, like I said, the next few weeks we're going to be kind of diving into different position groups. What we have currently on the roster, who's a free agent, and what it looks like out there in free agency, as well as the best available in the draft. All right. So here we go. Let's begin. So these are our free agents for defensive tackles and defensive ends heading into the 2026 offseason. So we have 5 guys who are free agents. One of them is a guy who the Chiefs can save $9 million by releasing, and that's Mike Dana, he's on the roster for one more year, but they can get rid of him and save $9 million, which I think is going to happen. But these are the 6 guys who, all intents and purposes, may not be with us this upcoming season. JD, Tej, what do you make of the guys who are potentially on the way out if they don't plan to re-sign them?
All replaceable.
I think, look, Mike Pennell's been here for a long time. He's played a lot of football. And I think the way that they did him at the beginning of the season was kind of wrong. And so that'll tell you right now that they probably have no problem moving on from Mike going forward. Same thing, Jerry Tillery, who was a high draft pick in his days, didn't really give us too much. He came in. I mean, he had a motor, man. He just didn't produce. This is a production-based business. You got to produce. And so I think it was pretty much kind of mediocre as far as his performance. Noddy, same thing. We moved on from him. I think they'll probably do the same thing as well. Menahu was one that was wanted to get a big contract, and it was going to be based off his performance and what he was able to do. And it was kind of underwhelming. I love Menahu. I think he's a hell of a guy. I know he works hard, but just the numbers in itself just didn't help him out. It just didn't. And so after him having that knee surgery, really hurt his performance. It did. So he'll probably be out on the free agent in the market, trying to get a contract. Somebody else, he'll sign with somebody for sure. But I think the Chiefs are sitting there saying, like, man, we're probably going to go ahead and move on from him. Janarius Robinson, shoot. Heck, I don't even know where has he been at?
He got hurt in preseason, so we never got to see him. And I was excited about him. I think we did film study on him. He had some versatility to him, but we just never got to see him. He got hurt.
Right. I just see, and that's, hey man, if you're not there, nobody's seeing you. Then you've forgotten. Okay, and the Chiefs easily move on from that. Now, Mike Danna is one of those guys that, look, he's loved by the entire organization. He's loved by the teams. They because of what Mike gives every single day of practice. He's a great teammate. He really is. A good, locker room guy. And what they did is they, gave Mike a nice little hefty contract because of that. Okay, and his dedication to the things that he was doing. Is this something that they possibly may do? It's a possibility that they might release Mike Danna just because they sit there saying we need to change some things up, salvage guys that we do have, and see if Mike Danna can go somewhere else and go get another contract somewhere else. And Mike probably will, just because of his character, his hard work, his work ethic, but also too, he's one of those guys that's easy to stand on the table for when you talk to another team, right? Hey, what do you think about, hey, man, Mike is a great choice. Hey, we loved him when he was here. Mike could do well in your program. Go ahead and get him. He's a solid guy. You don't have to worry anything about Mike. He's going to come in with his hard hat and lunch pail every single day at practice. And that's what you tell him. That's what you tell him. But for us here, I'm sure they may move on from Mike. I'm sure they will. If this could save them $9 million, because they need to find that money somewhere, Marcus and Teja, they have to. And this is what NFL business is about. It's what business is about, man. So that might be the move. It might be the move. But
like you said, I think I think it's interesting too, right? There's 5 guys who are free agents. Dan is not a free agent. We can save money by cutting him. That's why I added him there. But of the 5 guys here, Pernell, Nadi, Amenahu, 3 guys who've been brought back by the organization, right? And I think this offseason is going to be a big. I know they talked about overhaul and roster overhaul, but I think a big thing with this offseason, I think they are going to be cutting off a lot of the guys who've been around. It's kind of the retooling aspect where you're not bringing back the same old guys. You're going to see a lot of new blood this offseason. So I don't think you're going to be kind of bringing back the guys that have been around before. And I think among that, Mike Danna, right, also another guy, right? We re-signed him. He was a free agent. We brought him back too. So that's multiple guys here. But Danna, like what you hit on, JD, he's beloved in that locker room.
Yeah.
And that I think and you could talk about this in particular, is the fact that when a guy who's, they're going to save a lot of money by releasing him if they do that. But by releasing a guy who's beloved in the locker room, that's kind of sending a kind of message like, it's kind of, we're starting fresh here, guys. I know he's been beloved in the locker room, but like, we're kind of starting fresh here, and we're going to bring in some new meat and new guys. You think that would, cutting a guy like Danna, does that send that kind of a message to the locker room? It's like, hey, like, look, we're starting fresh here. Not that he's a bad guy right there. I'm just saying as kind of his contract's the reason why they're cutting him. But as far as sending a message, it's like, hey, like, look, it's going to be big changes here. Guy who's beloved in the locker room, we're even letting him go at this point, right?
We've watched Tyreek Hill go down to Miami. We watched Snead go to Tennessee. They understand what NFL business is. Sometimes it sucks, but it's the reality too. And guys know it. They get it. Like, hey, shoot, we get it. And what you hate is to see your boy that you've been with for the past couple of years, and and him, moving to a new chapter in his life. But guess what? He's only a phone call away. Shoot, you know what I mean? You can still stay in contact. You can still go to Cabo with your brother if you wanted to, the Greek Isles or wherever you go, and hang out with families and whatnot. But, maybe just your time in Kansas City might just come to the end. But yeah, hey, look, this is just reality in the NFL. Every single year there's guys that just get that you don't expect, get cut or get released. That's the business. Shoot, got to deal with it at some point. I tell you who's going to find out, these rookies. And I tell you, somebody gonna say, you see how we got rid of him? See how it happened? Guess what? Not for long. That's what it means. NFL, not for long. So 100%. Somebody gonna have a real, serious talking to for a couple of these jokers. So you might be out the door next. So
It's definitely like a splash of cold water in the morning for some of these rookies, for sure.
Yeah.
Teja, I know you said they're replaceable, but do you have anything to add to the guys who are?
I would bring back Pinnell, but honestly, I think that's going to be the last guy they bring back out of that group, just because he was the last guy they brought back in that group this year. So they brought him back because they were pretty much desperate for a body who knows the system and can be a warm body out there. And I don't think it's necessarily $9 million saving is the reason why. I think it's also important to say that it's production versus cost. Because teams eat salaries all the time. They're like, okay, he's worth that. He costs this much, but he gives us this much. That in relation to his value, it's good. We're fine with that. Problem with Dan is he got paid after, I believe, his 6.5 sack season. Before that, he had a 5 sack season. Before that, he had a 3 sack season. Before that, he had 2 sacks. He was going up. And then after that, 3.5 and 1. Those trends, as you make more money every year, it's not going to work. Like you have to produce what you're getting paid. And this is why we've gotten in conversations in the past about Chris Jones's future eventually, is that as he makes more money and as he produces less, that's the opposite of where you want to be. And you can't, as a team trying to be successful, you can't have too many of those guys on your roster. It's just not going to work. You're going to lose. You're just going to lose. So these are the kind of decisions you have to make, right? Like Tyreek Hill was interesting though, because he was worth it. He was absolutely worth it. We just couldn't afford that anymore. That was just like, man, no. Like, why are you selling their car? Is it not run good? No, it runs amazing. Like, is the gas good? Yeah, the gas is pretty good. Why are you getting rid of it? I just can't afford it anymore. Like, it has nothing to do with the car. The car is great. Like, I just can't pay for it anymore. I can't have a Ferrari in my garage anymore. It's not happening. So that's what Tyreek Hill. That's a different situation. That is strictly just money. That's like 100% business. Like, he is worth it. We just don't have that, right? So in this case, it's Dan is a little different, and tough decisions need to be made on these kind of guys. But I'm going to go ahead and say that whole process of the business and being, a cold, hard slap in the face of truth, it's already started. Like, the coaching staff's already getting gutted. When those guys in the locker room are seeing the coaching staff already get gutted, they're like, oh, man, that's just the first earthquake. Like, it's going to aftershock the hell out of us in this locker room. If those guys are not safe at all, we are not safe. We're definitely not safe. So those ripples have already started, and I think everyone's just waiting for the rest of the shoes to drop at this point. So yeah, I think Dana is going to be one of those victims. Unfortunately, $9 million, man, it's not nothing.
No, I mean it's not. And you brought up Tyreek on that. Of course, there was some grumblings here and there about what they could have pulled money out to get Tyreek if they wanted to. They could have.
We would have been hurting though.
We would have been hurting, but would it been like, well, shoot, if this guy is, he's probably arguably at the time the best receiver, one of the top receivers in the league. Do you keep a guy like that Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball to, and you got Travis Kelce? So, and the thing is, you look at where we at right now, as far as, because people are like, what we do now? First round, do we go get a receiver? Do we have to do that? He goes down.
Yeah.
This is.
I can argue that.
Huh? Yeah.
I can argue for that.
So now,
hold
on. Are you saying you would argue that you would go get Tyreek now? Bring him back?
Well, I could also argue that, but I could argue that we could draft a receiver in the first round.
Oh.
Going back to your Tyreek, comment though, you're right. We could have done that, but I'll give another house metaphor. That would have been like me coming back inside. Guy came, saw my Ferrari, and then my wife. I come back inside. My wife's like, "You sold it?" I'm like, "Nah, we're gonna keep it." She goes, "I thought we couldn't afford it. We can afford it, but here's a list of shit we got to cut out. Okay, no more subscriptions.
Yeah.
Forget your gym membership. Okay.
Right.
No more eating outside anymore. We're cooking. We got to eat ramen the first 3 months. Ramen, cup of noodles, ramen, soup, first 3 months. After that, here's a strict grocery list. Like, that's what, if you want to keep that, this is what we have to do after that. And that's getting by with the Ferrari, but it ain't living a nice lifestyle. A nice lifestyle is going to Super Bowls every year.
Right.
So that's what the decision came down to. It's like Tyreek can make it work, or no Tyreek and like, let's have some subscriptions.
Right. Draft capital, get some things and all that. So we got some draft and stuff. So yeah, it did help for sure. I think, man, with like you said, with Dana, his production, right, just doesn't warrant, like you said, the payment. But that goes into the same thing. If we're sitting there saying, well, Tyreek is more on the lines of Trent McDuffie, or Steve. Like, well, we just can't afford.
It's a good comp.
Yeah, $40 million for Trent McDuffie. We love
100%.
him. He produces, but we just can't pay this ticket. We got other, holes that we need to fill. So we able to get draft capital maybe for Trent McDuffie, then let's go ahead and do it. Same thing with a Jalen Watson. What do you do with that? I mean, Jalen Watson is he's rated what? Where's he at right now at free agent DBs? Where's he at?
The projected for him right now on Spot Track is about $12.4 million a year.
Oh, he's projected high on the list. He's top like 15 overall on a lot of lists.
But as far as money wise, they say he's about $13 million a year. Yeah, he's about 13. He's our second highest one. So our top three highest market value guys going to the offseason projection wise from Spot Track. Brian Cook, number one, about $15 million a year, $14.6 million a year. Watson, $12.4 million a year, and then Kelsey at $10.7 million a year.
Bye.
Project.
Tell you shaking his head.
I mean, look, man. If they're going to get that money, those are third-round comp picks in 2027. So you're telling me right now, if we could trade Watson for a third round next year, would you do it? Yeah, totally. Would you trade? Who was the second guy you named?
Cook was 4.7.
Would you trade Cook for a third next year? Yes, I would. And then not pay $15 million. So it's like you're winning twice on that one. And I'm not saying they're not good players. They're good players. Sure. I think they'll mean more to a team that's got $103 million to spend, looking to spend money. Like they just hit the lottery and they're trying to spend money. They're going to the mall being like, what is that? I'll take 4. Those are the kind of teams that sign the Cooks for $15 million. Us, we're shopping at 5 and below for our groceries, man.
I mean, I hear you, man, but you can't just keep the cupboard bare. I mean, you can't get rid of everybody. That'll be part of the problem, man. Look, I get, trying to be frugal, but also too, what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut your nose in spite of your face, trying to save here, and then all of a sudden, what you're doing is you're gonna actually, hamstring yourself and saying, well, shoot, where'd our whole secondary go? Now we're gonna sit there and look at, Noel, right, who's being phenomenal. Okay, Fulton, we had to worry about if he's gonna stay healthy for the entire season. Right?
Agreed.
We don't really have a backup for him. And then we start looking at other safeties. The only thing we got is Hicks, and then, Chamari.
I'm saying let them go for nothing. I mean, but we're going to get priced out of it really quickly. Like, yeah, sure. Yeah. If they're a good deal, and we can still, if they're getting paid well relative to their production, then I'm totally fine with that. I don't want to just say goodbye for the sake of saying goodbye, but at the same time, like, we can't afford to pay Cook $15 a year any more than we can pay McDuffie $22 a year or $25 a year.
I think if they trade McDuffie, I think it obviously ups the chances of bringing back Jalen Watson on a $10 to $12 million a year deal.
I was saying you can't let all 3 go. You had to do 2 for sure. 3, I wouldn't be on that. I couldn't agree with that one. And the thing is, you had to say, well, which one would be probably the most valuable that you could keep and say, look, I can probably do this deal if we do something team friendly. Can Watson do it? Yeah, possibly. Can Cook? Yeah, possibly. Other than that, you're going to have to go out free agency anyway and try to get a guy in here, and you can't really just get a guy. You can't. You can.
It's a deep safety for free agency So that's good.
Okay. Production-wise, though, I mean, that's what matters. Scheme what you're running. Does he have everything that you want him to do? So,
to put a bow on this on the free agents that we have for our D line, I know Teja said Pinnell would probably be the one that he thinks that would be brought back, or hope that be brought back. Would want back.
I like Mike to come back.
Of all these guys, you think Pinnell has the highest shot of being back next year? If you had to kind of make a wager on it,
I ain't putting a wager on any of these guys. I think they seriously. I do think they revamping this group for sure. Yeah. They are going after defensive tackles and defensive end. That's going to be their concentration this offseason for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, absolute bargain 1-year deal. I would do it. I would even do a Menahu with a bargain 1-year deal.
Yeah, a Menahu's projection is about 3.8 mil. What he made 4 mil last year, but so his projection's gone down.
Yeah, if they take a bargain for sure, man. Yeah, I'd like to have either one of them back. I know they're going to test the market. The way Mike was talking on the show. I don't know, because these vet guys, obviously, the league pays for part of it. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
So that could definitely work if they could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, Menahu, I know he's been kind of hurt, and that was kind of the reason why. He had the injury 2 years ago. This past year, come back. I mean, they say it usually takes around a year to kind of get back. Maybe he comes back with one more year. Maybe he looks kind of like his old self again. But kind of to what you guys are saying, to the points what you guys made, I think we're going to see a big time revampment of this D-line room, and I wouldn't be surprised if none of these guys are back.
No, not at all.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's go to so this is taking away the guys that are gone for agency wise. Now here's what we're left with, fellas. I want to hear your thoughts on this. So these are the guys returning as of right now. So D tackle wise, Chris Jones, Omar Norman Lott, who had looked pretty solid before he got hurt, will be coming back from an ACL injury. Zach Pickens played at the end of the season. Marcus Harris, who I believe we just picked up in a futures deal a couple weeks ago. So that's it for defensive tackles. DNs, Carl Loftus, FAU, got hurt during preseason. Ashton Gelati, who came on strong at the end of the year. Mike Dan, who's still on the team, but he has obviously you could save $9 million by cutting him. And then Ethan Downs. Don't know much about Ethan Downs, but yeah. So this is what we have currently in the room, and this is why we opened the show. We said Veach has a lot of work to do with the defensive line room. And when you look at what we have currently on the team right now, JD, Tej, what do you make of this current room right now? Because for me, if I had to grade this current room, I would say C-, D+ is what I would give it right now. Because this is they got a lot of work to do. They got the work cut out for them big time.
You mean pretty polite?
Yeah, I don't want to go too much further, too much below D+.
Okay.
Well, you got two guys, Chris Jones on O&L for sure. They good players. I think we're going to get a lot out of, Norman Lott, hopefully next year. He heals up, comes back with a vengeance. Hopefully we get something out of him. Marcus Harris and, Zach Pickens, I think these are just guys. I watched Pickens his past couple of games, and he didn't really blow me out of the water. Defensive ends, man. Kalakis, his production. How many sacks did Kalakis have? 7? Was it 7 or 6?
I think it was 6.5 or 7. Yeah,
6.5 or 7. Oh man, King Felix, man.
6.
6. Okay. And Felix just hadn't worked out. Ashton, we know, is a young guy that, the more playing time he'll get, the better he's going to be. Hopefully they stand him up, do some different things with him as well. Then we already talked about Mike, and then Ethan Downs. I have no idea who that guy is at all. So,
we have a question here from Marion Oliver. It says, do you think the Chiefs move on from FAU? Obviously, FAU, he doesn't come up for next year or the year after.
He has an option coming up for 2027.
Okay, so
This is
next
player
season.
option. So his free agency as of right now is 2028.
Okay.
If they pick up his option for 2027.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much like this is make it or break it for him. This is it.
Yeah. Yeah. No reason to move on from him.
Yeah. Pickens was by the way, he had a round 2 grade 2 years ago. He was a third round. He was the first pick of the third round, but he had a round 2 grade that year. I remember him at an SC. He was good. He was really good. He was a player. Marcus Harris was a 7th rounder by the Texans. Yeah, I mean, Harris was a high motor situational pass rusher. Pickens was kind of like good at a lot, not really great at anything. And then Lott, we know what he is: explosive first step, gap shooter. We don't have a lot of. We can take anything. We can take a nose tackle, just a nose, plug it up in the middle, or we could take a gap shooter again. Keep getting guys that have explosive first steps, guys that can do everything. We can go any which way at D tackle based on this.
Yeah.
The ends, I mean, I'll tell you what we are missing. We're missing like a freak athlete, a monster around the edge. We have high motor guys. Karloff is a good motor guy. Giavatti's a very powerful motor guy. FAU, I don't know. I mean, he is high motor, but I mean, we got to see how he comes back from an injury. We are missing that other side, like a terror on the other side. That's obvious. That's what we're missing here.
And the thing is, it's like what was eye opening for me was like, obviously we talk about edge rusher. That's been the thing. But then when I looked at this list, when we put this together, I saw defensive tackle and we've talked about bringing a guy next to Chris Jones, and obviously we didn't get to see O&L on a full scale this year. But like, man, to go from Jones, Norman Lott, and then if Norman Lott's not there, it goes to we're talking about practice squad guys like that come in, and then if not, we had just veteran guys who kind of filled that role there. Honestly, and I mean, kind of against it. I know we'll get to who the best available defensive tackles are, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the two DNs, the Bailey and Bain, aren't there at number 9. They go best available defensive tackle, because honestly, I see a need for that as well. Because without Jones or Norman Lott out there, that's a disaster of a defensive tackle room.
So I'm saying there's no depth, and that's what you need. You need rotation. Just for the simple fact, Chris is getting older, right? We've worn him down over the years. Omar Norman Lott is coming off an injury. You need depth pieces and guys that could come in. I'm not just talking about just guys, right? No Jags. We need a dude that's going to come in and produce and give you something while he's in there, right? If he has to spell Chris Jones for, a couple of series, that's the guy that you need. Somebody you don't have to worry about when you put in. Somebody you ain't biting your fingernails thinking, oh, shoot, running backs are going to get past this guy, right? Or we double team getting up there to our linebackers. No, you need a killer inside there, man. You need that. So you get a guy like that, and do you get a guy like that in free agency? And so I know we're going to talk about guys in free agency. If there's guys out there, price point, talking about that too. What could we get them for? I think that's we got to explore that as well. So I've looked at some of the defensive tackles coming out in college. I'm not really too impressed with too many of them, man. Seriously, I was just like, man.
The top end's not there on D tackle, but it is a good crop of guys. It's just not the top end like it was last year. Like 5 guys in the top 20. It's not that kind of year. But there are a lot of guys. I like a lot of guys in D tackle who could definitely join our team and be our second best D tackle in the second or third round. But put it that way.
Yeah, right.
So it's there's meat out there on the bone.
Another thing too, just kind of looking at this, and I know FAU was a question someone asked if it would be cut, but our edge room would be so much different if FAU was a consistent contributor. Like, I know he's not a phenomenal athlete by any means, but even if we got 7 to 8 sacks from him a year, I mean, that would just make our edge room so much better than it is right now. It's just like, I know it still need work. It still need work by, I'm not saying a 7, 8, but it would still make me feel better about, oh man,
Right.
we have a bunch of rotational guys who can get us that between FAU, Gelati, and Karlaftis. But like, it hasn't been the contributions that we wanted, obviously, and that's really has set us back. Not FAU kind of not panning out in that spot.
I mean, the problem is you want him to get what our top highest paid DN is getting. That's another problem. Like, if you give him 6, Karlaftis needs to get 11. That's the problem. They're all underperforming. Jones too. They're all underperforming statistically. They just are. And that's a problem because none of them are producing what they're getting paid. And that, again, you're going to lose. And it's the reason why we lost.
The thing is, man, it just like Felix, man, is just he's, for whatever reason, he just hadn't translated to the NFL. He looked good in college. He did. He looked good. I was watching some of his film. I'm like, yo, this dude's going to be something. And obviously, everybody's like, we reached for him because he's a hometown kid. The Chiefs wanted to get him, but I was just like, man, this thing might actually work. This thing might actually work. And somehow he just hadn't figured it out. He had been with Tamba for a couple of years and just hasn't shown too much of anything. I'm talking about nothing at all. I mean, we haven't gotten anything out of him at all. He's a head scratcher to me, man. Seriously, I don't get it.
Well, that's why they say draft at the end of the first. It's tough. You got to really hit. You got to find a gem. That's what makes this draft that much more important.
But even though Tej, end of the first, he was still probably a second round, third round pick, regardless, right? Even when he reached for him, he still was going to be that. You still expect to get something.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Daggone. I mean, I'm sitting there saying, man, you a second round pick. We expect to get at least 5 sacks from you. Can we get 5?
Yeah.
Can we get 2 on the amount of rounds you got? We picked you in. Can we get that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just haven't gotten any of that, man. Just haven't. So, oh man.
Well, there are rumors that we wanted to trade out of that pick, out of the first round altogether, but I think that was the year that we were in. We had the draft in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So, in his defense, he wanted to get the hell out of that pick.
Well, yeah, Veach did. That's why this is one pick that I don't hear a lot of the Veach haters dog him for, because that's more of a Clark Hunt thing. they actually give him a pass on that one.
Yeah, Veach is like, hey, it's that guy. Man,
talk to this guy.
Yeah.
It's valid. I mean, hey, I would be reminding Clark every time they do a quarterly meeting about how things are going. I'd be like, FAU, let's just next. Let's go on to the next player. It ain't me.
All right, so let's go to, I believe we have, okay, so free agents. So this is what we're dealing with this coming year, this class of D tackles. I know JD said none of the draft guys, the rookie prospects have stood out. We'll get to some of the top 10s of those. But this is a pretty decent depth-wise class of defensive tackles. I think I only went 15 deep here. But what's crazy is I went 15 deep on both D tackles and D ends, and like kind of to the point, which really drives home the point of why we need to go D end or D tackle in this draft.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like projections for some of these guys, like where's the Indianapolis guy? Where is he? Quitty. I can't pronounce his last name. Quitty Pay, I believe his name is. Looking at his projections, they have him getting like 10 mil a year or something like that in this coming draft or in this coming free agency. I mean, like we're talking about like even guys who aren't the upper echelon. Sorry, they have him getting 17 mil a year. That's what his projection is, about 17 mil for this guy. And it just tells you like even like the guys who maybe mid tier, like these guys are getting paid a lot of money. So like getting a edge rusher is a premium position for people who think like running back and it's more flashy. I get it, but like the money is where the edge rushers are. The money's not where the running backs are. So we got to play a financial balance here and go smart with this decision. And we have to go edge rush or just D-line in this first round. But anybody stands out here in the this defensive tackle for agency class or defensive ends for agency class for you guys?
I do want to say before you do that, Travis Jones was a free agent. They re-signed him in December, 13.5 annually, which, by the way, I mean, that's a great deal in my opinion. Travis Jones is a beast. And that's, I mean, if that's what made it the leading, because I think he was number 1 D tackle listed. So if it all comes down from there, if he set the market, then yeah, some of these guys might be decent bargains actually.
Well, it goes up every single year. Everybody's going to be like, oh, okay, that was last year's price. Hello.
No. He signed last month.
Oh, he did. He signed. You said last month.
They did it before he reached free agency.
Oh.
They didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, I got you. So then, I mean, even then, it's like, okay, it was last month price.
That's 2025 price.
Right. We know you're desperate for a defense. We know you're desperate for me. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, baby. So, but I tell you what, the names that jump out to me, I looked at, these guys out here. I told you guys, Logan Hall to me was a guy, his size and the length remind me much like a Chris Jones. I liked him coming out in the draft. He's a high motor guy. He's one of those. He's going to come. He's going to bring it all. Like him, Calais Campbell, man. I mean, he's going to be 40. Shoot, daggone. And I think Calais. Can you get him here? Sure. It'd be fun to have Calais here. I don't know what Calais we might want to sign for. Not quite sure. And then we talked about Tierra Tart, but I think Tart is he's more of a run stopper as opposed to a pass rush guy. Let me see, who else did I see that was somewhat decent? I mean, DJ Reader, maybe. Other than that, man, I'm everybody else is kind of so-so. So my guys, like I named the 4 that I thought was good that we could get probably price point wise.
So according to Spot Track, so Logan Hall's projection, JD, they have him around 7.9 a year, 7.9 mil a year.
Okay.
Calais Campbell, he may be 40, but he's still making that dough right me. They have him projected around 10 mil a year.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't see one for Tart. They don't have him. They don't have a price point with him. But yes, I mean, you're a range from about 7 to 10 mil for some of these guys. And the Logan Hall one's interesting. I mean, he's only 25 years old. I mean,
25 years old, he's young, man.
7 mil. That's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Tart. John Franklin Myers, he had 7.5 sacks a season. That's the guy who reached the quarterback for interior.
That's the guy who's a quarterback, but that defensive line from left to right, which is phenomenal this year. And I don't know if that plays a part in it, like the fact that there's so many dudes that line, so he was able to be freed up. I mean,
but he's had 6'5", 3.5, 7, 7.5. He's been a pretty consistent. You give me an average of 6 sacks every season out of you, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I mean, if Dan's giving us 6 sacks a season, we might not be talking about waiving that $9 million right now. So
yeah, DT too. Yeah, I like that. True.
Yeah, his average according to Spot Track is around 7.4 mil. So yeah, I another guy I wouldn't mind. And this is like, to me, what jumps out to me is the fact that like I mean we probably go edge rush with number 9, and then like the defensive tackle class we'll get to in a second here. It's not the best. And I think there's more options as far as getting a veteran presences in here. And some of these guys' names, I mean, they're not going to break the bank. I mean, 7.5 mil, not breaking the bank by any means.
I mean, you have some lighter guys who could be good situational pass rushers that you're going to have to pay them a lot. Like, Owe, who's kind of like that tweener hybrid, but, he's had 7.5 and then 10 2 years ago. The dude that tore it up for the Pats, Chase he's a free agent. Again, he plays like the outside linebacker, kind of 3-4-ish type hybrid, but he can, man, you want to bring him in, just unleash him on passing downs and pay him a lot of money for that. Sure. I mean, he can do it. Are you a full-time player? Like, is he playing the run as your 4-3 DN? I don't know. But if we're just talking about getting after the quarterback, then there are some guys that can do it in situationally. You just have to pay for a situational pass rush.
Yeah. The thing is that what you want to do? Shoot, you're sitting there saying, "Oh, look, we need to get everything from this guy." Everybody else we see on that defensive end on the right side, man, that's a high ticket over
That's
there.
pricey.
Yes,
pricey.
it is. Yes, it is.
A guy who can do everything and get 10 sacks is, I mean,
yeah.
There aren't that many of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I will say from a Tart standpoint, I know he's more of a specialist. He brings a lot of nastiness, and having a guy like that would be awesome to have. Some dude who kind of brings it. I think he was like taunting Kelsey during the game. Yeah, they might have even taunted Swift online after the game. I get it. Some Chief fans can't stand him because of that. But to get a guy like that in house to just bring some of that nastiness, that grit, I would love that. I mean, I don't think we have enough of that nastiness on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I say this. I've only seen that against our game. I didn't never really heard him anywhere else as far as the things he was doing against any other team. Now that one he had where he punched Kelsey, I actually watched that play, and so Kelsey kind of gets him a little bit, kind of pushes a little after the whistle, and that's why he reared back and hit Kelsey. Right now, he should have been ejected for sure, but I was like, oh, okay, I see why he threw the punch, on Kelsey. See why that was. But fans should, if you thinking about getting somebody like that, man, you forgive him for that too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially you're not breaking the bank on him too, and I'm sure our fans saw our defensive line room look like. It's like, hey, we're bringing this guy in. Okay, I'm fine with that.
We'll bring him in and let him and Kelsey square it up day one and get it over with. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. You want your lick back? Here we go. Square it on up. Okay. And we can put it to bed and get out here and win a championship. How about that? They might bring them together. Shoot.
Yeah. And I think another thing that plays a part of this, and one thing that did stay out to me also, I mean, Chargers, I know they just lost yesterday to the Patriots, but they had a really good defensive front this year. Owe was a big part of that. Was a great midseason acquisition for them from the Ravens to get him over there.
3 sacks.
He was awesome for them. But there's a lot of Chargers defensive guys in this free agency class. This whole defensive line. So, and JD, you know how it is. AFC West teams like to go get fellow AFC West guys. I could see us maybe taking one. We have needs for a defensive line, and I mean, there's 4 of these dudes are going to be available. I could see us going and getting one of these Chargers fellas. And Christian Fulton was a Chargers guy. We went and got him. So
we need at least 3 guys on the defensive line coming in, at least 3, and 3 guys that are going to be playing. I'm talking about playing, not just rotate. I'm coming in, and I'm talking about taking snaps from other guys that you had to set other guys down. Well, who do we want to? Okay, that's what I'm looking at. So we ain't gonna bring you down to be a bench warmer. Can't do that. Yeah, come in to come play and contribute immediately. So whether it be draft, we talked about draft wise, the guys that we like, but we're gonna have to find a couple of guys off this list for sure.
all right. So let's go to the draft process. This is the final slide that we have. So these are the draft prospects for this upcoming draft here. I went about 10 deep for both defensive tackles and defensive ends. Obviously, the ones we like, Bailey and Ruben Bain, Texas Tech and Miami. But, yeah, guys, when you look at this list here, I think it kind of stands out. There's a lot of premium, at least top-notch premium pass rushers in this class, and I think we can really kind of reshape our defensive line room in our pass rush with this number 9 pick. And I'm seeing 2 guys that kind of stand out to me. And I know some fans actually want Keldrick Falk from Auburn. I'm not the biggest Keldrick Falk fan, but He's very young, so there's that. What do you guys make of the top prospects from the defensive tackle room and defensive end?
I looked at some of the top guys. I looked at Peter Woods from Clemson, Caden McDonald. Checked him out too. Who else did I look at? Christian Miller from Georgia. I'm trying to think who else was it. Tim Keenan also as well. And some, like I said, defensive tackles, some of these guys were just kind of guys. They didn't really blow me out of the water. Some was just like, okay, it really. And I was just thinking about, man, how's this going to look on Sunday? And so, look, their teams are invested really heavy on the interior guys, on the guards and their centers. We know that. And so how are you going to come and compete against, those guys is the question. How are you going to look? I like the defensive ends more so than I do the defensive tackles in this group. There's a few guys that stand out to me on defensive ends that I do like. Bailey, of course, Bain, obviously, I've been talking about them two guys. Falk is not too bad. I don't think he's all right. He's all right to me. Messador is okay for Miami as well. Who else on there? I wasn't particularly Hal. I wasn't too big on Hal as much. Thought he was okay. Not too big on him. Who else? Because there was a couple guys I just glanced over. I started looking at them, I'm just like, it's okay.
Were you a big Mason Thomas fan? Mason Thomas has gotten Bonito kind of comparisons as being a kind of slender, kind of a shooting guard, small forward kind of build to him.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I really looked at him, Marcus. Not quite sure. I had a list of guys. Teja, the ones you were saying, like kind of check out. I checked out a few of the guys that you had named. And some other ones I just kind of went down a rabbit hole checking some guys out. And after a while, kind of turned it off because I was just like, shit. Who for him?
Playoffs.
Yeah, well, this guy right here can't cut my grass.
Second round.
Teja, I know you defensive tackle wise. I know you like some of the mid round guys, not so much the top guys like Peter Woods of the world. I know you're huge on the Iowa State Dominic Orange, which Big Citrus is his nickname,
baby.
Which I love that nickname.
you got some really good nicknames here. So the Godfather, obviously Dante Corleone.
Yeah.
I mean that's obvious right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like some of these guys a lot. Caleb Banks, I'm really curious to see his measurables. They say he might have 35+ inch arms in length. He missed a lot of this season with a foot injury, but his 2024 tape, they said he could have came out last year. That's how good it was. So most of his where he gets drafted is just based on previous year tape. He's 6'6", 330. He'll probably be like a mid-late first-round pick. Peter Wood, same thing. They say his tape wasn't as good this year, but he could play across the D-line. I like Christian Miller. I think some of these guys, for me, I'm thinking about a McDuffie trade to get us either a late first round or like a early mid-second round. These are the kind of guys that you target with that pick, right? Or at 40. Where our second round, Christian Miller is 25-35 range. He could play nose or 3 technique. He's got longer arms. He's got good twitch for his size too, which you don't see a lot with the bigger guys like that. But he's a good run defender as well. High football IQ. It's too bad we lost Amari Washington. That would have been another D tackle to put out there. Let's see what else. K. McDonald, the OSU guy, he's another guy who's a dominant run defender. Also posts decent pass rush capabilities.
Yeah.
Another guy in that 25 to 40 range. Corleone's in that mid 50 range. He's more like I think like a more of a nose, classic nose. Lee Hunter too, Texas Tech. I know Marcus, you and I have talked about him before. He's 6'4", 330. That's a true nose. but he also has shown a lot of potential to rush the passer too. So he's got a pretty high pass rush win rate.
Yes, some of the draft experts said the way he played in the college football semifinals or the quarterfinals, he probably rose his draft stock more than anybody in the college football playoffs. The way he played against the win against Oregon, I believe.
Who's that? Lee Hunter.
Lee Hunter, yeah.
I had to check him out.
I think there are guys in that 30, 25 to like 50 range. I think we could get a good starting D tackle on our team.
And I'm curious about Darrell Jackson. He's enormous, like 6'6", 340. So he's a big dude. FSU guy. We do like Florida State guys. In the last year, we brought in Joshua Farmer. He never came over. But we've had obviously
bad luck. We've been bad luck.
K-Doe, Fabian Lovett, obviously, and Derek Nottie. So yeah, I mean, none of those guys really flashed, but they love the FSU D lineman.
He's in like the 80 to 100 range at this point, at least in the process as far as picks. So he'd be like maybe trade up in our. Yeah, I mean, third. That's probably usually it would be great for that. Our third round's pretty early. I think our third round's like 74. So he maybe trade up in the fourth and get up there. Yeah, he's a beast too. He's enormous, a little inconsistent. I mean, once you start getting to the 80s, 90s, the guys' inconsistencies, their weaknesses are a little more glaring, right, at that point. But there's still a lot of guys. It's considered a pretty deep class, and you might be able to get like the third or fourth best D tackle at our second round pick. It's pretty good.
Let me ask you guys. I know when we get close to the draft stuff, we'll do our Mondays where we kind of dissect individual players. But since we're kind of looking at it just like this, I know JD, you guys have both talked about Bailey and Ruben. I've had conversations with both you guys. Obviously, we need to see what happens at the combine. Everyone's talking about arm length, and now Peyton doesn't look like he has long arms, whatever. But if you had your druthers at pick number 9, both these guys are there, and I don't think both will be there at number 9. I think maybe one will be, and I hope to God one of them will be. Who would be your kind of your preference between Bain and Bailey?
I like Bain. That's my preference. My preference is because of his versatility. What we've been doing with our guys, Spags wise, he's been using, where guys can play outside and inside. You can move him inside and out. And so Bain can give you that. And if you pair him up or going against maybe a center, maybe on the island, he might beat you one-on-one. That's what he brings. So that's what I love about his versatility is because he can move inside and outside. We've been doing that with Dana. We've been doing that. Charles Menahu, he'll fit right into the scheme of what we run. But what I love about Bain is he's just such a powerful guy. And everybody keeps doing this, his arms and all of this. I'm like, listen, man, that guy. Michael Parsons is an inch longer than Bain's. And as long as Bain's got power, which he does in his thighs and underneath him, that sucker's beefy, man. He comes with absolute power. He comes around that edge. He'll learn. He'll adapt easy into this league. That's the type of guy he is. You can see a guy who can make the transition and it shouldn't be a problem, like with him, right? Like certain things you just can't hide. Power was one of them. When I see him rush and just throw guys around and push guys back, it don't matter if you're in college or the NFL. He's pushing 320 pounds back like it's nothing. So that's why I love with Bain, because of his versatility. And with the guys that we have right now, I think he fit right in. Bailey in itself, he's just a pass rush specialist. When I watch him, he's fast, he's twitchy. Kind of reminds me like a James Pierce, right? But not so much because of his length and stuff like that. He's just like he's an anomaly, the way that he looks. And when you look at him, you're just like, dude, this guy shouldn't be doing what he's doing, but he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would hope Spags are using like that. I mean, you have to. I would. If we bringing him out there, we make sure he's standing up, he's coming after the football. So I don't think you'll go wrong with either one of those guys, but my preference would be Bain. So,
Tej, preference?
Oh man, that's so tough. I think I would lean Bailey.
Oh, that's kind of, I'm not expecting that. You've kind of flip flopped over the last few weeks, huh?
I know. Well, I mean, you're talking about two of the best,
For sure.
prospects 2 and 3 in the draft.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I lean it because Bailey's done it for 2 years. He did it with 2 different teams for 2 seasons. He's looked like he's been one of the most dominant pass rushers for 2 seasons in college football. 9 elite pass rushing grades for 2 back-to-back seasons, and that's just body of work. That's going to translate. It's just tough. That's tough to ignore. We need a hit. We need more of a sure thing. I do agree. Bain's got more versatility. You can kick him inside on pass rush downs. You get more out of him in that regard. But I just think, I think both those guys can go off, and I think Bailey would have a higher percentage of being like a 16 sack guy. I think Bain can have double digits every year. Let me put it this way. I think Bailey's more of a Justin Houston. I think Bain's more of a Tamba.
Do you see with that? Let's say you got Bain in the first round. Do you see somebody that has any type of potential of a Bailey who's a pass rush specialist that you could get in the second round of the other defensive ends?
I like some of these because usually it falls off pretty hard. I like R. Mason Thomas a lot. You're talking about like situational pass rushers.
Yeah.
9.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, short area power, a little undersized. That's where he gets some of those Benito. But a lot of people say they would not be surprised if he comes out and is the top pass rusher in like 5 years from now, right? He's got that kind of explosion. Messidor from Miami, another guy, man. He's a beast. You watch some tape on him if you can. You can also he's strong too. You can kick him inside too if you want. He's got that kind of versatility as well. He's very close to Bain's size. He's 6'3", 275. Violent hands. I think it was McShay called him the Tasmanian Devil. That's what he looks like out there. Hand usage, leverage, power, high motor, relentless, good bend, not stiff, high football IQ, can diagnose. He's slightly undersized and he's had an injury past. Those are his knocks. But you're talking about a guy who on the PFF board, I think it's like 70 right now. I mean, try getting your starting DN that you can also kick inside at 70 overall. I mean, forget about it, So, and he's good against the run. So he doesn't actually have a lot of weaknesses outside of being slightly undersized and with an injury past. So, that kind of sounds like Bain outside of the injuries. His biggest knock's being undersized, just not as, dominant as he's been. But yeah, there's always some guys you can get. There's some dudes out there. I like Howell. I mean, I think Howell's kind of like I see Howell's like a poor man's Bailey. Very thin, speed rusher. There's a reason why he's going, 25, 30, and Bailey's like the top 3 prospect in the draft. So there are definitely some options, especially again if you get that McDuffie deal done for like a late first, early second. Some of these guys are definitely in your wheelhouse. Thomas, I think projected to go in like the 25, 35 range. Same with Howell. TJ Parker's around there. Messidor, you're looking at, probably, I don't know, if he kills it at the combine, maybe second round. So much can change from here on out. Like these guys have a good measurement or good, like if Bain measures half an inch longer than people expect, you're talking about like he's not getting out of the top 5 at that point, So if Bailey runs extremely fast 40 times, just blows the top off. He's not getting out of the top 5, right? It's like these guys have to just do one small thing really, really well at the combine because their tape is so good. They're going to just skyrocket.
What about this Zion Young? I don't know too much about him. I haven't really watched a lot of tape on him.
I have not watched a lot of tape on Zion Young yet. One of the guys I'm going to get to, but I think his draft, he's around that same area as Messidor, though.
Okay.
Mid-late second to mid-late third. Again, depending on what he does coming up.
Yeah. A lot of guys on the in his class as far as and it's a good year to need edge rushers. Because we just talked about like 15 of these guys, and all of them have their pros to them. And I do think it's kind of funny. I see James Lamp's comments here. He says Bailey can't defend the run. Look at the numbers. Not a Spags type guy because he can't defend the run. But also at the same point, he says Bain all day long, ready now, plug him in. But the like Bailey can't defend the run, not a Spags guy. Also, Bain's arm length isn't typically a Spags guy too. So like it's both like people can pick and choose what not a Spags guy is, right? We want long arms. Right. We want a guy who can do both. Well,
shoot. Hey, look, if a sucker can make plays, he's my guy. Spags will say the same thing. That's my guy. Well, I don't want to say, hey, look, I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of it. The guy's our guy. Okay, he can be in shorter. It don't matter. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if Bailey gets us 12+ sacks a season, I mean, I really care less how bad he is against the run. I'm not drafting to be a run stuffer. I mean, that's not what you're doing. That I mean, I don't know. I'm doing that to have a team game plan against a guy. All right. I think Benito fell because of his size, and they were questioning him against the run. Okay. I don't think anyone gives a crap about how his run stuffing was in college anymore.
Right. But here you go, everybody. So that does it for our defensive line prospects for the upcoming draft. I mean, or the upcoming offseason. I know there was a lot there, a lot to kind of take in about what our current state of our defensive line looks like, the current free agents that we have, and what is out there available in free agency and in the draft. And it's going to be very interesting. Like we said, Veach has got his hands full, and there's a reason why we start off with defensive line as we uncover all the position groups, because there's a lot going on there. You got a contribution from Brother Rick 195. What's up, Brother Rick? Appreciate the contribution, buddy. How about Will Shields as offensive line coach, JD? I feel like we get a different former teammate of yours as our potential offensive line coach question a lot.
Man, these guys ain't trying to do that. If Will hadn't been out there to coach any time before now, you ain't trying to get Will ain't trying to do that. He's enjoying his retirement. He's enjoying handling retired guys and the trust. That's who Will is. So he does a lot for the NFL in that regard, man. He ain't trying to. Nah. I love that. Shoot, it'd be great.
Oh yeah.
But I think Will be pissed off because he knows these guys can do what he did. They're gonna work like Will works. So.
Maybe you come back for training camp for like a couple days or something like that, and just give the guys a few pointers and get the heck out of there.
Will be absolutely straight to the point with the guys. If you don't cut it, you're gonna get cut. So either sink or swim.
There you go. Appreciate the contribution,
Bailey's run defense grade, by the way, was 81 PFF, which is not elite, but it's still really, really good. So
wait, run defense was 81?
81.
This is Bailey or Bain?
Bailey.
Oh, that's wow. Elite. That's elite. 81?
I mean, he's the best. He's one of the best pass rushers in college football, and his pass rush grade was 94. So 81 is pretty good.
That's great. Yeah, I take it all day. Shoot.
So, I mean.
It's insane.
Yeah, so James Lamp, those are the numbers right there, buddy. 81
Bain was 87, which is better.
Mm-hmm.
But, I expect that from him, actually. He's built for that, right? Right. I expect Bailey to be a little worse than that, to be honest with you.
I wasn't expecting you to say the 80s at all. I think I got like low 70s or something.
Yeah. Great, but shoot.
Yeah. But what was Bain's pass rush grade?
92.4 true pass rush, true pass set, 92.4 pass rush win rate, 24%.
Come on, baby.
Run stop rate 6.9%, which is interesting because Bailey's is 9%.
Wow.
So again, these guys are both studs. I mean, we're gonna get. They're both not going to be there. So whoever does last it, just thank your lucky stars and run to the friggin', run your card in. That's all I gotta say.
Immediately.
Yeah, just keep hoping for more guys to come out. I'm glad. I think Dante Moore's going to come out. That's one more guy that'll be selected top 10. Push everyone down a little notch. Let's hope maybe Simpson tears it up at the combine. If Simpson tears it up at the combine, easily be top 10.
That's the talk. Yeah. And they said that if he tears up at the combine, you can even see teams try to trade up into the top 10 to try to get him. So
great. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, we talk about how miserable our defensive line room is. It's a good year to be in the top 10 to possibly get one of these guys because they will be instant impact players and just game changers for our defense and, allowing us to finally get to the quarterback without having to blitz. Because now, we talk about the games this past weekend, JD. We saw a lot of these teams were able to get to the quarterback without having to blitz.
Exactly. That's what I was. Yes. I wanted to tweet that the whole time I was sitting there just watching, like, look, watch the bash rush. Check them out. I mean, Justin Herbert, oh, man, God bless him. That sucker right there, man, got hit every type of way. I thought the one time he wasn't going to get up when he got hit in the rib by that one shot. I was like, this sucker ain't getting up out this.
Yeah, he was taking some hits last night. Oof.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, that does it for us on this Monday morning tight end show on your Monday evening. We will see you guys Wednesday night as JD and I continue to talk about these off-season storylines because there's a lot of them. And who knows, we might have an OC by the time we meet again on Wednesday. But we'll see.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky, yeah. I feel like they're going to wait till all these – I feel like a lot of these coaches are waiting until these games are done, and then they'll probably
Yeah, they don't need nobody right now. They good at this moment. They got a couple guys on their plate they want. So they're just going to see. So.
Yeah, and then once the Bears, and I think that once the Bears lose, that'll be very telling because the reports are either they're going to go outside, not promote from within, which is I guess technically Bieniemy wouldn't be promoting from within because he's not on the staff right now. However, Bieniemy's the big name to watch to come back to be the OC, or like as we've heard, Cliff Kingsbury is the other name out there too, but he's also interviewing for head coaching jobs. I don't know. It's still a lot of conflicting reports out there, but yeah, we will tackle some of these off-season storylines Wednesday night. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed our breakdown of the defensive line room on your Monday night. Everyone can go back and watch the second half of this Steelers and Texans game.
Yes, sir. Let's get on it, baby. All right, fellas. Good seeing y'all. Marcus, Teja, love you guys. Love y'all out there. Ladies, everybody. Gents, we will see y'all Wednesday night. Y'all take care. God bless. Be good to each other. We'll see y'all then.
All righty.
All right, fellas.
Later.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.